This is where he feels most comfortable. But this is where he's going to have the most success in this lobby. Still a long way to go until that final zone.
Was getting flashbacks with fighting Rift Island. That could have easily been Malibuka and Thomas. So a huge victory for iDrop and Mappy, getting that 15 points and getting the position here as Robot just trying to go underneath everybody else. Try to go unnoticed. He gets spotted out on the tail end, quickly boxes up. Mr. Savage, Vidil, they have a much easier run. They're ahead of all the madness already. And you see the big Bush Bomb and the Wild Wasp Jars. They're getting ready for some sort of a sneak attack or to dictate where somebody's allowed to rotate with the Wild Wasp.
Yeah, and I think Mr. Savage has very much been showcasing just how much he's improved as a player of late. Always looking to be proactive in claiming ahead, getting those low ground layers free in front of everybody else, and doing that here in this game so far. Archie still up and running. Mr. Savage, though, unfortunately has lost the deal. A bit split up in that sense, and so now it's going to be up to him to put on a solo masterclass if he can. A Bush Bomb being used there just to provide an extra bit of cover, some solace for the moment. That's going to be really good for him because so many players as well going down in the feed as he sort of camps and hides out there. We'll see who he runs into. It's going to be Nebs. And unfortunately for Nebs, he's not going to stand a chance, but he will deliver a lovely little flopper there for Mr. Savage to use now.
Giving him some time to work with as he's in the outside of the zone. This is exactly what you don't want to do to a player like Mr. Savage. Give him time, give him information, give him so much flexibility to work with as he's trying to get into the zone. 5 HP and a dream finally goes down altogether, but the high ground is still under control from iDrop and Mappy. It's so late in the game right now, Levin. I don't know who's daring enough to take it away.
I don't know who it's going to be. It might not be anyone at all, but I did see on low ground Cammy and Seti very much claiming a lot of space down there, and you can see running out of materials, so now it's going to be up to them to make a play. They've made it so deep into the game, but they need something to keep them going just that bit longer.
The layer change, they have the slap splashes, trying to keep themselves full HP deep inside of the zone. Top 8 teams, they're outlasting everybody else. These are huge points that they are picking up. On the low ground though, Hootie and Tropex, they're doing a good job of staying away from all the madness. Archie is a solo. He has only one build left. He gets past them, but there's so many other players. He actually falls down. This is the bad situation for Archie. He's trying to make something of it, but he goes down. But he picked up so many points as a solo there.
Really good from Archie, but the story goes on. Shakos with a big a limb there and another one to add to the tally. On an absolute tear in this game so far, Shakos. 6 limbs, 8 for the team in total, and opportunities for more. Tropex scurrying his way into zone, but not much space. Gonna have to start tanking. Shakos picks up iDrop. We saw iDrop and Mappy looking free up on height, but Shakos has ruined their party a bit. Eventually will fall. Storm Sickness, unfortunately, not in his favor. And so now it's going to be up to Mappy to just hold on, because Tropex had no journey into the safe zone. For a play like this last game, it didn't quite work. They got caught unawares, so see whether or not we can pay off for them here in game number 2. Oh, wow. Nice shots.
Holding on to that high ground as much as possible, making sure that if anybody is daring enough to try to launch pad or rift or use any border mobility to try to get from point A to point B, they're going to have to go through them first. Jalen taking a little bit of a swim. Twee's right behind him. They're trying to go ahead and get ahead. This is what I'm saying. Once you get stuck on that ultimate low ground, there's so many opportunities for you to get taken out, and this is going to be a tough spot for Jalen. Some of those walls aren't even his, and he has no builds left. Meanwhile, smooth sailing from Mixon and Blotcha. They're high up in the sky, just terrorizing, putting pressure from above with the flapjack.
Yeah, and I love how we just switched to the opposite of smooth sailing right now, because Seti doesn't have Cammy with him. iDrop and Mappy, they're getting in some trouble. They want to go back on high, and that might just cost them. We saw them win a game from there, but the play is not quite going to be successful 2 times around.
Blotcha is able to get both. Vidil's there towards the low ground, getting a huge knock on the Twee. Him and Jalen got separated. It almost looked like Jalen was attempting to go for that high ground and third party when the timing was right, but they got separated, and that's Vidil trying to take advantage. He's solo playing right now. These points are so crucial for him and Mr. Savage. You've seen how teams were able to perform with the pressure in game number 1 and what it did to their placement on that leaderboard.
Yeah, Vidil's such an instinctive fragger, always sniffing out the danger and looking to try and take out players who he senses are vulnerable. Robab and Axe Force, they're still in this one as a duo, and you can see them just rotating on this right side of the zone, keeping their angles limited. are still very much on the lookout for opportunities to take fights, and Malabuka and Thomas were waiting for them to open up, and so a bit of a jump scare for that duo.
Opened up that floor and just see 2 shots fired at you from a bush. Those are the ones that are hardest to hit when you can't even see your opponent. It's Malabuka Thomas, no builds, no resources. They're trying to do anything that they can to try to use very, very little and stay alive. Setti's feeling the pressure from the high ground. All angles are there. He too has no build, and you're seeing what it's doing to people as he finally gets taken down. Siphon Matt's going on over. Hellfire Nev, they have 8 eliminations, 98 points, and they're looking like they're not stopping anytime soon.
You can see all these players now trying to move up. This change in elevation, so difficult to traverse. All of these players have already used so many of their materials to try and rotate in through these zones, and now everyone just fighting in the storm. Hellfire picking up shots. Nebs has fallen, and so the job's all on Hellfire. Picks up Axe Force. And nicely done, Elim. 7 in this game already. These guys are absolutely popping off, exploding in this lobby. And Badil's very much done the same here as a solo for so much of it. But can he close things out? A battle head-to-head against Hellfire. He has the HP advantage, has the advantage in positioning, and so he wins the battle. Yeah, Robab and Axe Force, they're going to be the ones that hold the keys to height. And looking down on everybody in the lobby, a focus on just trying to stay ahead. Cammy and Seti, we obviously know how effectively they can rotate, and I think it's testament to that how many materials Cammy has left. Now even looking up for height, maybe a chop opportunity, and that might have just costed them. And as I say that, Seti is going to be the one to fall. Cammy did his best to try and return fire, but ultimately there, a lapse in communication, a lapse in focus, not on the same page, and it cost them dearly.
Cost them so much, but now it's Cammy's time to try to make up for it. Finds that first elimination onto Thomas HD, leaving Malabuka by himself as well. Into the top 11 we go, and Cammy, he has some time. If he can get that slurp juice, zone is pulling back. He could be healthy in an instant as Malabuka out of shields. Now he's looking down, out of builds as well, trying to catch somebody off guard to get that refresh. There's so many players stuck down there, but he's not going to slide down that mountain because it's not time. Cammy is doing everything he can to pick up these points.
I feel like we've seen this in so many of these games. The zone sliding across a mountain, forcing people beneath just to try and fight it out to survive. And so many people getting caught out as a result. Hati now having to drop down, only 3 builds, and now just a 2, and a shotgun shot needed, but it won't connect. Cammy though, still trying to stay alive in this one and needs that shot. And so he'll hit it. That's what Cammy does. And he needs to start going on a rampage.
That was instantaneous with the slurp juice. It's like he read the play a mile away to keep himself healthy. Pete, once again, popping the slurp juice as well. Doesn't really have anything onto the med miss as he's trying to go ahead and save as many of these resources as possible. Goes down even one more layer from Vokes and DKS to try to stay alive, but the inevitable is about to happen. He ends up in a 2v1. He goes down, but at least he gets a top 5 for his worries.
Cammy still alive in this game. We've seen solo clutches today, and he's looking to be the next one to join the list, but unfortunately, there's going to be Skivvy that takes him out. Axe Force and Robab, we saw them smooth sailing during those moving zones on height, and they're still there, running all materials, and now setting up to try and win this final 2v2.
You can already see with the weapons and the loadout that they just switched around, Robab is going to put the pressure. Axe Force with the heisted breacher is going to be the one trying to go in, stop that heal off. First shot's going to be fired. A massive blow from Axe Force as he continues to back down his opponent. He's doing everything by himself in this situation, but finally he goes down. That is not the best because now Siphon gets picked up, keeping DKS on the low ground alive much longer, but Robab has almost every heal in the book, and both mythic and regular variations of the slap splashes. Men missed on the other side is all DKS has. He's searching for anything, some sort of treasure left behind from a fallen enemy. The med miss has finally run out. Robab has this one in the bag as DKS runs out of time.
Brilliantly done from the Swedes.
No more slow side for a lot of these teams. They're still trying to continue to go from point A to point B. Mustache looking all around, making sure nobody is going to surprise him, and immediately spots somebody above, but down goes Savage yet again. Into the top 22. Vidil's going to have to do it as a solo, which is so possible because he's already done it once today. Quick edit, misses the shot, backtracks in his steps. Piece control going on over to his opponent. Vidil looking like he's scrambling, but finds a way out in the end.
I'm just wondering who that was that he was fighting. They took his wall first time. It's not often you see that one happen to Vidil. Nevertheless, all eyes will be on him. Can he pull off another solo clutch performance? This one's going to be a bit harder though, and it's not going to happen at all. Anchor is the one to take him down.
He's got a couple more placement points for his effort as we tune back into just Tayson. His Mustache got taken down not too long ago. Trying to spot some teams, trying to waterfall down. Any bit of damage here is good. As a solo, he's just trying to pick up any bit of a refresh to try to keep himself going, because right now he only has that wood. He's going to be running out of hard mats here in just a moment as he takes a beam, trying to edit out. He needs to find a couple of seconds to stabilize himself here in this position, but nobody wants to let that one go for free in this lobby.
Such a tough spot for Tayson to be in, and he's been in difficult situations before, but a long time since he's had to solo clutch on a no movement meta like this one. Drop down into that box for a moment. Now going to get the time to medkit. Going to use that timing to try and lurk in the back of the zone and get a refresh if he can. DKS and Vox. They don't have to worry about that though. Still a duo in this game. It's Pink and Vico up above as well. So still many big names left in this one, but DKS is the one to eventually pick Tayson up.
This could be the game for Pink and Vico on the high ground, because nobody has a chance to even look up. Najim was trying to do it earlier on in the game, but the tables have definitely turned. Robab now becomes the focus. DKS down low towards the low ground with Vox is trying to go ahead and be one of the first teams through a lot of these builds. You don't want to fall behind all the chaos as Robab is being experienced that as he gets flanked from behind, taken down altogether as DKS and Vox are just trying to keep themselves intact. They're one of the only duos left in this lobby.
Won't be the back-to-back wins for Robab, but still a formidable game. Cammy almost costing themselves there with a wasp, but I see the intention behind it. Now going to get wasped out himself. They're going to need to start making a move on. It's going to be tough, but so much fighting happening. One tile above them, Pink and Vico just going to watch it all unfold. They don't need to do anything too rash. Just need to stay here. They're in such a good spot. Cammy and Seti on low ground, claiming space, doing what you expect them to do every time they're in this spot. And they'll look to drop players down and pick them up. I believe they just picked up one there. At least it sounded like it. Yep, Cammy picked up an iron. And so now it's going to be up to them to try and clean up DKS and Vox's. Pink and Vico will try to squeeze them into a difficult spot as well.
Yeah, Vico doing a good job. He's going in front of everybody else, causing them to take a misstep overall. But Vico with the surprise attack onto both Cammy and Seti while they were distracted. That's a huge amount of loot that they can use as they push themselves deeper into this endgame.
Now the Vuka in the back of the zone. Big shots. Needs to hit more. Can't get too ahead of himself. But you know, when given an opportunity, he's going to do it twice. And there's more opportunities here as well. The Mule doesn't even have a clue it's about to happen. But Malabuka can't quite get the timing. Oh dear. I thought it was going to happen. Nevertheless, Seti moving through this zone. Building in a bit of a panic, but there's some calm in the storm for him as finally gets himself in a nice spot here with Cammy where they can farm up that tree and look to move in a bit more. Looking up for height as well. Need to be careful.
Perfect plays with Breacher. He's just breaking down the builds for the high ground. They notice it. They put pressure down low. Vidil and Mr. Savage into the top 11. He's making sure to get every single heal that he can, just in case this one does go down to a heal off. But he's even leading the way for Vidil, who's on the back, making sure, again, nobody can turn around and hit a flank shot, but he's out of builds, fresh out of mats, looking for a refresh, but it's DKS who finds it onto Cammy, throws the body in their box. Top 10 we go, Levin.
Look at DKS and Vox. We saw them in some trouble before we got to first moving, but they've clearly picked things up and turned their game around. Mr. Savage and Vidil, we saw the efforts to try and claim low ground earlier, and after running out of mats, they're now resorting to using their shotguns, and it won't be enough to keep them in the game. DKS and Vox may have gotten hurt in all that battle though, as now DKS is left as a solo to try and use his heals in the zone, get some placement points as we enter this top 5 situation.
The team that has already captured the Rift Island 2 times for 30 extra points. They already have a huge victory on the day, and they're looking for a second one. They have full control, but DKS has a solo. This is his chance to stagger himself outside. Slurp Juice being popped, but one splash left, so he's looking at every single player that was taken down before him to see if there's any heals that he can use. As I drop, Mappy still taking control. They drop down, another elimination, but he turns, he burns, takes down iDrop. Fanazin trying to put the game on his shoulders, but there's still so many heals going down towards the high ground, and it comes down to this, a 1v1 situation. Karmi, he has the low ground. Mappy, he has the high ground, and he has 7 mythic slap splashes. That is 210 possible heals. You added the med, he found more slap splashes. Mappy has the luck of the Irish on his side when it comes to heals, but Karmi, with the little bit that he has left on the med miss, he's trying to figure out how much time he has left, but it's all out. He is fresh out of time, but he's headed through another med miss. Where are people finding every single piece of these heals to try to heal off? But Mappy, once again, those slap splashes really proving to be the difference maker in this heal off towards the end, but he's down just to the med miss and a couple of bandages, which he won't be able to use. Karmi finds another med miss, but no time to use it. Mappy, with every heal on the island, takes the game.
Today, to just roll through in the last game and almost have some sort of a victory lap. Well, unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. It's going to be up to all the teams beneath them to start fighting, hustling, busting, moving their way up in the standings. Pink very much wants to add himself to that list, but it is going to be hard without Vico to play by his side. He's used to leading the charge, but he needs someone bringing him those materials, getting those refreshes. But now he has to bear all that responsibility on himself.
It's a big task to order from any of these players as we inch ourselves into the top 15. Luigi popping the last of his heals to try to stay alive, but he's staggered back. That's QB on the other side. That's iDrop and Mappy off the high ground. That's putting pressure. Slurp Juice still being active right now as he tries to make his way in towards the zone to try to alleviate any of the pressure. He becomes the target from multiple angles. Forced down low to the low ground, even out of the zone for a quick second, as Pink, he has a little bit of a smoother road here towards the finish, as not too many teams are contesting him as a solo.
Pink, he's done so well up to this point, and he's looking strong still, but eventually the materials are going to have to start running low, and that's going to force him to get a refresh. Oh my goodness, I'm just seeing in the feed he's taking down Clownski. Maybe there is hope for Pink in this game. Such low HP though. iDrop and Mappy though, very much looking for that third VR. They are looking so strong in the lobby where when we bounce around player to player, everybody's looking scuffed, everybody's struggling, low on HP, low on materials. These guys still in the prime position, and even with just 4 builds, iDrop still very, very much sitting in a spot many people would want to be in. Blaha and Mixon, one of the few competitors left in this one, but they're low on materials. And so Vox and DKS have a chance here to make the play of a lifetime. Try wrap around in the zone and maybe claim the front of the zone when nobody has any builds. They're just going to try stay in the back of the zone, and everybody now, except for them, just on bare bones, playing 0 build almost. Mappy and iDrop still waiting up above, but they need to start hitting some shots and soon.
You gotta be careful though, because the timing of those players slowly but surely floating down could be what does him in the end. Wild Wasp being thrown up, iDrop and Mappy being forced down, and now that's a quick elimination onto DKS. Back to back, they're looking for the second one as it does get cleaned up. They move themselves into the final 4, and that's what you call thinking outside of the box. When players rift above, they just go below.
iDrop and Mappy have been sensational so far today, and this could be the victory lap for them. But Blatcher and Mixon are here to spoil the party. One found there, and it's all up to Mappy now to try and make the heal-off happen again. We saw this a couple games ago, and a chance now with the med miss. Do Blaha and Mixon have the heal-off potential though? It doesn't really seem like it. He's going to start to run low, and so Mappy will secure it. A third victory royale for iDrop and Mappy. Mixon and Blaha did such a good job. You thought they were going to steal it away, ruin the party, but Mappy was ready and waiting with the med mists.
iDrop and Mappy, they start major number 3 in a huge way, coming out in that number 1 spot. They are trying to send a message to everyone else. Hey, one of those spots to globals, that's going to be ours.
30